All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. Sorry I'm a little bit late. To be honest, I was up until like 2 a.m. last night. Again, struggling with an issue in Alchemy Mortis. There was a new ability that I wanted to make, and I discovered... do I want to call it a substantial problem? Maybe. Maybe I want to call it a substantial problem. But anyway... I stayed up way too late trying to solve that. Did not get it solved, but that's okay. Anyway, but I'm here now, and the goal for this stream is to get some more unlocks added. So I've added a bunch of new content, and I also have a bunch of new statistics that I'm able to track. So I just want to, make some more unlocks. So yeah, anyway, we'll check that out in a second, but before we do, I want to remind everyone that Alchemy Mortis is available for wishlisting. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler where you can create your own builds using alchemy. You can also support me on Patreon. I'm entirely self-funded, so I've just been blowing through my savings making Alchemy Mortis, but it's well worth it, I think. But if you want to support me, you could do so on Patreon. You get a couple of nice perks for this as well. You get all the access to the Patreon exclusive videos, which I've been posting. I'm going to be doing another one as soon as I get this ability issue fixed. I thought it would be fun to like sit there and design a new ability, like a new legendary ability or something for a video. So anyway, you can subscribe to Patreon to see those exclusive videos. You can also subscribe at this top tier here. That will give you an Alchemy Mortis Steam key, and your name will be put in the Alchemy Mortis credits. So yeah, if you know you're going to buy it on Steam, maybe consider just subscribing on Patreon instead, and you'll get a Steam key and credits in the game as well. And I also have my Udemy courses available for sale. This is a great way to support me as well, but it's also a great way to learn how to build games in the Godot engine. So check those out. You can also join the Discord, that's linked below. Yeah, all the stuff is linked below, so definitely check it out. Hello, Clickertail, welcome back. Good to see you. Ninja Link, good morning to you. Good morning. Emerson, welcome back. Hello, Ask Me. I hope I said that correctly. Just wanted to show some real love for your stream because you generally got crazy potential. I'd love to connect with you, a top Twitch streamer who pulls thousands of live viewers. Uh-oh. He actually helps smaller creators grow the right way with real viewers, active chat, loyal supporters. Okay, well. Dang it. That was, I thought that was a nice message at first, but now it's clear to me that that was just advertising. Dang, he was gonna, get my ego up. How do I... I don't know how to do moderation on Twitch. Anyway. Hello, Light Tiramisu. Welcome, welcome. I always stay up till around 2 to 4 a.m. just fixing bugs and adding features to my game. Yeah. It's taking its toll on me, though. I'm not a young man anymore. I'm approaching... Wait, how old am I? I'm approaching 32 years old. I can't be doing that stuff anymore. I have to have a 10 p.m. bedtime. Good morning, the malicious rabbit. What about the Q&A one? Well, the problem is that maybe I'll like re-up the Q&A thing. I want to do that, but there's only like 9 questions total, so I don't know if that's going to be a super interesting video. Give me the ban hammer. I don't know how. I literally don't know how to do. Hello, Junie. Welcome. I literally don't even know how to do the Twitch moderation. Like I don't even know where I can find the setting to like make people moderators, or like I just ended up blocking the person Um, I ended up blocking the person, but I don't know if that bans them from the stream. I mean, it's very clearly a scam, right? Like, first of all, if you're going to privately connect me with a streamer, you wouldn't put it in the public Twitch chat. That's number one, right? Number two, like, I'm not out here, like, trying to make the stream, like, huge, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That scam was going to work on somebody for sure, but not this guy. I got a huge brain. I'm going to be 21 in June of this year. Oh, very nice. Oh, your birthday's coming up. Well, happy birthday in advance. Moon was actually a huge streamer, but that is silly, yeah. I don't know. I just ended up blocking the account, so I don't know. I don't know if that, like, bans them from my Twitch chat or whatever, but anyway. I'm still able to see the message. Well, I don't know how to do this. It gives me options to pin the message and to reply to the message. Mod actions. I don't even know, man. Maybe I can't do it in OBS here. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, ban, there we go. I got it. Boom, message deleted. That is not a very intuitive UI. Am I becoming a boomer? I don't even know how to use the tech anymore. Oh, goodness. I'm able to see the best. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, there it goes. There's a moderator view specifically for Twitch, I think. Yeah, I mean, I have a little, like, I have a little dock in OBS. So I've got, like, Twitch and YouTube, like, docks side by side. And the Twitch thing is like a little mini condensed, like, chat plus some hidden mod actions. I have to click on the person's name, and then there's, like, tiny little icon-only buttons in the little pop-up that comes up that contain no text, and they're not purple or anything. So I just completely missed it, but that's right. I've tried GD extension with Rust recently. I was surprised at how seamlessly it worked with my existing project. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was like, I don't know why, but I've been hearing a lot about Rust recently. And I was like, well, I mean, I don't know what it is, but I've started to get into more of, like, more interested in that kind of side of things. Maybe the languages that are a little bit more technical. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but Rust looks appealing. I was literally just reading the Godot Rust docs 2 days ago, and I was like, oh, I kind of really want to try this. Like, I kind of really want to just try to make a little game with Godot Rust, but then I realized I have to finish Alchemortis, so I successfully pushed back that temptation. But maybe someday. I absolutely love Rust. I'm actively using it. If you ever need help, let me know. It's been a blast. Okay, yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think there's a bunch about Rust that seems very appealing to me. The trait and, like, implementation system. Like, you know, it's not object-oriented, right? It's, like, data-driven, like, functional, I guess, is kind of what it is. But you, like, build all of your implementations out of, like, composition, basically. So you, like, you know, this is just me coming from an absolute beginner perspective, so I'm sure I'm going to say things wrong, but, like, you attach traits to your different structures and implementations to those structures as well, and then you can basically, I mean, that's how you achieve, like, the I don't know what I want to call it, but yeah, you're basically composing your implementations out of, like, smaller parts. So anyway, it looks interesting. I haven't done anything but read the Godot Rust docs and, like, some light Godot or some light Rust introduction video. So I'm still, like, you know, obviously don't know what I'm talking about, but it looks interesting. It looks like it should be as powerful or more powerful than, like, an object-oriented language, but without all the pitfalls of, like, the inflexibility that comes with the certain types of inheritance. So yeah, we'll see. Hello, Tama. Tamara Castillo. I hope I said that correctly. Welcome, welcome. GMTK Game Jam 2026 will start on July 22nd. All right, well, I guess I have to do that. It works really well. I would suggest you start with a cargo workspace right away when you do. My aim is to have a shared library for all my prototypes and games. Okay, I don't know what that means, but I will keep that in mind, the cargo workspace. That's the other thing too, is like, okay, why are you being so creative with your names, right? Like, why are the packages called crates? I mean, I get it, but it's like, at some point, like, wouldn't you be more concerned about making sure people know what you're talking about rather than being like cute with the naming? Like, you call it a crate and some cargo, and it's like, why don't you just call it like a package and like a library or something? But anyway, I'm still interested to learn Godot Rust, even despite its despite Rust's cute naming. How did you learn Godot? I learned Godot just through trial and error. Like, when I started Godot in 2017 on the 3.0 alpha days, there weren't a whole lot of resources, and this was like the first implementation of like C# as well. I started using C# pretty early on when it was available. And there was basically like no documentation about like any of the new features in Godot, any of the C# support and the pitfalls of C#. So I just like trial and error. I love the engine so much that when I encountered like weird issues that I couldn't figure out a way around, I just kind of like bashed my head against the brick wall until I made a hole in it, you know? And that's just how I learned Godot. I'm not the kind of person that really likes formal resources. I mean, I was learning Godot literally in my like senior year programming classes. Like, I wasn't paying attention to the lecture, and I was like, I was just messing around with Godot. So I've never been one for like structured learning, really. I just like to get my hands in and do stuff and see what happens. But that's how I learned it. And of course I looked up like individual resources when I needed it, right? Like, I don't know how to use this node, and go look up a video and whatnot, but that's basically how I did it. Trial by fire. Okay, anyway, so we need to add some unlock conditions. I don't have a really good way of like viewing the unlock stuff. They gotta be unique, yeah. Cute is fun. It is fun, yeah, for sure. But it's, you know, if you're coming with a programming background to Rust and you're like seeing all this new terminology being used, it just adds like a layer of friction to picking up Rust, you know what I mean? Which is not a big deal. I'm just saying, like, maybe I would prefer the terminology to be standardized across any language or framework that you would use. But it doesn't matter that much. Okay, so we have unlock conditions for all of the characters. We're missing, we could put a lot of unlock conditions for artifacts. 5,000 damage in one run. Maybe I'll do... So the problem with my unlock system is I don't really have a nice way of like viewing which unlock conditions already exist and what do those conditions unlock. But I also don't really feel like building a tool to make that easier. So item bundle. Card pack. Let's turn this up to 10,000. I'm making the, so just as a fair warning for everyone that's going to try the playtest that's coming up soon. I'm making all of the unlock conditions much more difficult than they were previously. And so don't be mad at me if you find one that's like literally impossible to unlock. we're going the pendulum in the other direction. I'm just like cranking up the the difficulty of the conditions across the board. And that may mean that maybe one or two things is just like impossible to unlock during the playtest. So anyway, okay, so I just buffed that. Let's see. So we can definitely do so. So I think the main areas to focus on here are, we can add some more item bundles, which are groups of cards that get unlocked together. And we can add more artifact unlock conditions. So let's do some card bundle stuff. The other problem is I don't have a way of knowing which cards are already in a bundle. Except for just like looking at it, I guess. It would just be nice to have like a tool where I could set all this stuff up and like view it in a nice table. Unfortunately, I think that's gonna be a little bit too burdensome to do at this moment. It's gonna take me longer to build the tool to see all the unlock statuses and unlock conditions in a nice way than it is for me to just like figure out what to do. Okay, apprentice reagent bundle. It would be cool to do like a journeyman reagent bundle. Maybe we'll do that. That's like standing out to me immediately. So let's do card pack reagent 1. Let's do another resource. Card pack unlock definition resource. Card pack reagent 2. Okay, journeyman, apprentice, bundle. Do I need to do that? Apprentice reagent. Oh, journeyman apprentice, what? No, journeyman reagent. Okay, so now let's also... Okay, this is gonna be easier. Let's see, card inspection tool. Scenes UI card and, oh no. Scenes tool, card inspection tool. So let's do this. Let's launch scenes tool, card inspection tool. Let's launch this here. Okay, so now we've got object reference not set to an instance of object. Okay, well, it seems to work. Okay, so reagent. Okay, so I can see my reagents here now, as well as the unlocks. Okay, it might be a little small on the stream. I apologize for that, but okay. So the apprentice reagent bundle contains the elf, gold, gem, and mystery tonic. Let's do. Let's see. We can do... Let's add the chisel. I'm just gonna add just 2 items, just chisel and witch dust, because I don't want to reduce the pool of available items too much. Well, actually, do I not do? Oh, this is not translated properly. Dragon scales is not translated properly. Okay, we'll fix that. Let's do chisel, dragon scales, and fairy wings. Card pack, reagent 1. Unlocked by completing alchemy required. Okay, so here's what I might do actually. I buffed this one quite a bit, but I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. And then I will just make this like the same theme here. So do card pack reagent 2. Copy this. Alchemy required 75. Okay. Time for game dev once again. Hello, Jagged Daytona. Welcome. Having access to crates alongside Godot Rust is amazing. I'm using crates for RNG and noise generation, much more efficient than Godot's noise implementation if you don't need it for visuals. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so I was interested at one point in using like ECMAScript with Godot, JavaScript basically, because the main appeal of that was, again, like having all of the NPM packages available to you. But that particular implementation, it was really annoying to like get the packages, the NPM packages to be built with your project. Like you had to set up like some kind of watcher, and then you had to like run a command after you pulled in a package or something. I don't remember exactly what but it was just like not like, it wasn't like, oh, npm install and then like run Godot, right? It wasn't that simple. Like you had to do a bunch of extra steps to get it to work. And I was like, eh. And the binding, I did try the ECMAScript a little bit, and it was just weird how like it handled like global namespace stuff. It was just a little bit clunky. So I don't know if it was that implementation or maybe it was just a problem with trying to integrate that particular language. But anyway, I do want to try Godot Rust. Like the one of the nice things about using C# is like I could just use basically any NuGet package that's compatible with the project. And that's quite a few of them. Trial by Firebelly. Did C# export to web in 3.x? It did. It did. Hello, Rig Dev, by the way. Welcome back. Hudai, welcome. We're trying to crank it, aren't we? I don't know if I would use that language, but yes. How did you learn pixel art? I tried to make pixel art, but it looks like pixel soup. I have a video on this channel, actually, how to get good at pixel art with no skill, which again is like more of a clickbaity title, but I think the content of the video is really helpful because it's like the 5 most impactful tips that I learned that made an immediate difference in the quality of my pixel art. And so, yeah, it's just like, it's one of those things where if you can learn the fundamental rules and a couple of the tricks or the strategies that people use to create pixel art, like your art becomes much better. And then after that, it's like, it's just a matter of practicing. So you learn how to and how to not shade things. You learn how to and how to not choose colors. You learn how to and how to not, you know, draw your lines. And yeah, it's just a matter of practice, but that's how I learned. So hello, Alien Archer, welcome. I'm doing well, how are you doing? Save system is the same, right? Are you going to delete the save files? I mean, for people who already played the other playtest. Yeah, so all playtest progress is going to be deleted, and the same is true when the demo comes out. Like, you should just assume that none of your progress is going to be saved. The save file is the same, but I do have, like, my save migrator. So this is the save migration class. And basically, I mean, this is kind of interesting, I guess, but so basically when the save file gets loaded, there is a current version here that gets set as the version automatically. But if the version's already set, that means that you already have a save file. And so if it detects a difference in this version from the current version, it will step through all the relevant migration functions here. And the way that this works is basically I actually just get like the actual JSON objects into the migration, because the problem is like the data model that is in the current version of the code may be different than the data model that is saved to the disk, especially if it's like several versions out of date. And so I can't actually just pass in like a save model here. I have to actually look at the JSON structure and then look at like the properties as I expect them to exist in this state. So I actually go into the JSON. In this case, this was fixing an issue where enemy cards were counting as new unlocks when you acquired them, but they don't show up in the unlock screen. So you were just getting a permanent unlock indicator. And so somebody brought this up. I think it was the malicious rabbit. If I'm not mistaken. But so while the last playtest was running, I pushed an update that had this migration in it, which basically cleared out all of the invalid like new unlocks, the unlocks that were enemy cards instead of player cards. And then I'm able to just like overwrite or change the JSON structure here, and then I can return that modified JSON root out, and then that gets resaved with the current version. I also did the same thing here because I forgot to save the current health of the player, because it was previously assumed that the player would heal after every combat encounter, but now with like the draft of coagulation, that's not the case. So I had to add a current health. And I renamed some things. So I renamed health to max health. So I had to take the old health value, put it in a max health property, and then remove the health property. But anyway, whenever I want to invalidate the save file, I just return null out of this migration. So I increment the counter, I add a new migration method, and then I just return null, and that clears the save file basically. So I have a way of migrating saves, I have a way of resetting saves. Obviously, save resetting won't happen after the game is released, but the migration system is still useful in case I do need to change the structure of the data. I can do that without like deleting anyone's saves or making them incompatible. The main benefit of Rust for me is, for the most part, it's very fine control over what code I ship, and also way less burden on GDScript LSP. Crates come from an idea that a Rust library package is a self-contained unit. Cargo extends a metaphor. If your card is packaged in crates, then cargo is what ships them. Yeah, that makes sense. But also export to web should be functional. Oh yeah, because Godot Rust can build to WASM, right? Rust is a cool language, though that borrow checker can be annoying. I don't know anything about the borrow checker, so I'll have to check it out. Definitely think about trying Rust now, at least to get away from C# for a while. Yeah. I mean, you know, I keep constantly having issues with like, I mean, not constantly, but like it's always a concern, like, am I creating too many objects for the garbage collector, right? Like Gunforged had a big problem where it was creating like 6 or 7 new like objects per frame, and it would just climb up to like thousands of objects, and then it would stutter a little bit. Now that was just a problem that I did. I was creating a ref count at every frame, or several ref counteds every frame when I didn't need to be. But it's just like, you know, if I could get away from having to worry about that. Now I understand there's going to be different concerns with Rust, but, and the other thing too is like, if I'm not mistaken, I think that there's some development happening with C#, specifically like there's a version of the garbage collector, or the garbage collector is being improved in some way for games. It's like a no hitch, no stutter garbage collector or something like that. I don't remember where I saw that, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of like in the works or being talked about. So the idea is that you would have the garbage collector still running, but it wouldn't actually cause any stutters in game when it runs, because it's being re-engineered to not do that, I guess. But like I said, I don't know anything about that, but I if that comes, if there's a zero hitch garbage collector that comes out in a future version of .NET or C# or whatever, then that would be nice, because then I don't have to worry about it. Trying to figure out how I want all my different damage over time ailments to scale. Yep, I've been there. That's cool, yeah. Save system is pretty cool. Hello, Wooias, welcome back. Okay, so far we have implemented 1 new unlock. Sorry, off topic, but when do you use resources versus components? Components are Components should ideally be logical, meaning that they actually do something that changes the game state in some way. Resources, I basically just treat resources as like data containers. So you think about it like any data that you'd want to configure in the editor that remains basically static during the gameplay can be a resource. But anything that acts on the data or anything that needs to actually change the running game state, either by moving something around or changing a value or whatever, that could be a component. But then you also only want to use components when you're sure that they can be reused in a generalized way across your project. But yeah, like if you take like a data-oriented approach, right, you might have like a stats, like if you're making an RPG, right, you might have like an entity stats custom resource where you define all of the base stats of the entity, right? And then you might have a stat component that you add to your entity, which takes in the initial state of the stats from that resource. But then the stat component is responsible for tracking any changes to those stats. Like, you know, if your armor gets buffed for 1 minute, right? That stat component will keep track of like the additional armor that you've gotten, you know. So yeah, I think that's the way that I would think about it. Typically, we can get rid of these dummy item bundles, card pack dummy. Do I reference this by UID somewhere? Nope. That returns a new list already, so we don't need to worry about that. So we can shrink that down. I'm also going to get rid of this card pack dummy. And we can get rid of the is placeholder as well. Okay, build. With Rust and Godot, specifically Godot interop part of it, you will mostly deal with Godot objects wrapped into smart pointers. You won't deal with lifetimes on that layer often. That's pretty cool. Unlock bundle not available. Let's get rid of this. UI unlock. I don't like this. Let's do this. I guess this probably doesn't need to be translated, but that's okay. Translation string group. Why am I not getting any autocomplete? Oh gosh. Okay. Get rid of all of this. I'm gonna reload the window because I'm not getting autocomplete for some reason. Why am I not getting autocomplete? Did I do something wrong? That helps. Thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hello, Sinus Kista? Sinus Kisti? Sorry if I mispronounced your name. I tried switching from Unity to Godot time and time again. Fortunately, C# still feels like an option that is merely there, available but not truly preferred. The mere fact that linking signals doesn't work cleanly is just so disheartening. C# attributes too feel somehow half finished. Is it just me or how do you see it? Especially since you're working with C#. Why Godot uses double over and over again. I don't know what you mean by signal linking. I have no problem with creating signals in here. I don't know if maybe you're talking about like linking them through the editor. But I don't have any problems with the signals in particular. C# attributes. Again, I don't really have much of a problem with them. I mean, attributes are limited for sure. Because they can't, I mean, they're basically just like metadata. They can't really do anything functionally. So they are a little bit limiting in that sense, but why am I not getting any autocomplete? So yeah, I mean, I don't think, you know, there are some places where it's weird. The Godot C# integration for sure, but for the most part, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. But why Godot uses double over and over again? I think if you're talking about like the type, if you're talking about the type, the double type, yeah, it's weird because Godot, if I'm not mistaken, Godot integers are 64-bit by default, or like Godot floats as well. So there are some weird parts in the Godot API where like it expects a normal float type, but then like in the process method, for example, it will pass in delta as a double. For whatever reason, probably because it's 64-bit. So Godot will pass in like your delta as a double, but then you can't like multiply it. For example, like a very common situation to do is to take the delta value and multiply it by some kind of velocity value. But the problem is the velocity components are floats, so you can't multiply the double into the velocity component. So you have to like cast it to a float to get it to work. And then there are certain situations too where it's like sometimes the Godot signal that you're handling passes in an integer, but it's actually a long in C#, and so it's like, but it doesn't tell you that anywhere. So you'll be like, why is my signal not working? Why does it say that this signal handler is not valid or whatever? And it's because, oh, it's actually a long that's coming in, not an int. So there are weird situations like that for sure. But I assume that stuff will be ironed out eventually. Did this not work? Did I not build it? Something's wrong. Why is this not working? Oh, it's down here. I missed it. Okay, it's here. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so you have to cast it to a float, which feels weird, but the engine itself is simply great. Thanks to people like you, I keep coming back to it. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, Godot has some rough edges for sure, but I think it's on a good trajectory, so. Okay, so maybe we do like a couple more item bundles here. Let's do, I'm thinking let's do a serpent pack. Yeah, let's do a serpent pack, but let me commit what I have. Just become a GDScript enjoyer easy. I do like GDScript. Welcome back, Forgotten. I do like it. And maybe when GDScript gets like traits and whatnot, maybe it'll be a more attractive option for me and a lot of other people as well. Okay. Let's do a new card pack unlock definition resource, card pack serpent. We are going to add whip, Leviathan, and Viper. Okay. New file, card pack serpent. Unlocked by oops. Why is my autocomplete not working? This is annoying. Get highest maintained. Get status type key poison. So that should be, so that should work. Status type. Highest maintained status stacks by type outbar stacks. Okay. I really don't know what's going on here. Where did my autocomplete go? Why is this not working? This is so annoying. Let's disable the Godot tools extension. Anyway. Did I do something? Did I disable... Did I disable my IntelliSense somehow? I don't even know how to check that. Does GDScript have interfaces or abstract classes? It does have abstract classes now, but I don't know how good they are. But no interfaces or traits yet. Hello, Simon William Taylor, welcome. Leviathan, not a deep sea bundle. Yeah, if I was thinking about doing another deep sea bundle. The problem is I don't want to put too many cards in one bundle. Like I would rather give the player more bundles with fewer items than like a few bundles with a lot of items. How do you get the coloring on folders in the file system section within Godot? It's just an option. You can just right click, set folder color. That's it. It's a feature since Godot 4.4 or something like that, I think. So now I'm getting this, but why am I not getting autocomplete here? I mean, I'm getting the AI complete, but something's weird. I don't know. The other thing to think about is that Rust traits are invisible to Godot, so it'll be up to you how to handle that conversion, unless you handle all the interaction inside the confines of your library. Gotcha. Reload window in VS Code. Yeah, I've done that a couple times. It doesn't seem to work. Did your LSP crash? If so, try to reset the language server maybe. Control-Shift-P. Language. LSP. Well, can I do it down here? I don't know how to restart the language server either. I mean, I just closed and restarted VS Code, so that should work. But anyway. Unlocked by reaching 500 poison stacks and 1 common encounter. Okay. Let's see if this works. I don't understand a bit interfaces. Like it has signals, and I think it's all you need. Interfaces are useful in engines like UV5 where it doesn't have signals. But for Godot, I can't really find a good explanation why they would implement them. Well, so signals are... That's the observer pattern, right? Signals are for alerting subscribers that something has happened within the instance, right? Within the object. But interfaces or traits are more about what capabilities does this object have, right? So you might have you might have like a weapon object. And there's a couple of ways to make a weapon, right? You can have a base class that has an attack method, and then you can make it an abstract class, abstract weapon class, right? And then you can extend that weapon class to your concrete implementations and then change the attack logic based on what weapon you have, right? But another way of doing that would be to have just an I attackable interface or something, or whatever. I weapon interface that has an attack method that can be freely implemented. And the reason you might want to do that is because composition in a lot of cases, rather than inheritance, could be a lot easier. So just going off the top of my head, an example where that might be useful is, let's say that you want to make like a trap barrel. You have a bunch of barrels on your level that you can destroy, and you want to make a trap barrel. It wouldn't really make sense in the abstract weapon class situation to have it extend weapon, because then it might also get a bunch of properties of weapons that it doesn't need, right? Like you might inadvertently make it pick upable and usable by the player as a weapon, when in reality you just want to make the thing like do damage to the player. So one way you could do that is you could give it an eye attackable trait or interface, very narrowly target just that, and then have it like attack the player when it takes damage, right? And then you can just do your very minimal damage logic in there without getting all the extra baggage of like a weapon class. So that's, I mean, obviously that's kind of like a silly example, because like you can do things a lot of different ways in programming, obviously, like, but that's where like the composition becomes more favorable, is you can very specifically target like what you actually want to implement on the object, and interfaces make that a lot easier. Traits make that a lot easier. Inheritance makes that harder, because if you need more and more granular pieces from like a base class, then the only way to really get that granularity is to create more intermediaries in the inheritance tree, right? And this is like, actually, if you've ever done Minecraft modding, this is a problem with Minecraft, is like you'll have an entity and then it extends ultimately, or it inherits ultimately like 10 different classes, because the only way to introduce granularity to support all this, different entity types that have different behaviors, is to like split the inheritance tree up more and more and more. Whereas with like interfaces or traits, you could just pick and choose the pieces that you want from the get-go and just slap them onto your class. And then you don't have this whole inheritance tree to worry about. So anyway, that's kind of the pros and cons of that stuff. But how did you make the card's background panel for the items you have? I'd imagine it's some sort of tile map that gets generated using code for each item, or you have a plugin for the generation. How did I make the card's background panel? They're literally just sprites. I just drew the shape for each of them. So if I go to assets, card, background, let's see, view. Well, you can't see that very well, but see, like I just drew all the different shapes that are supported. And when I add a new shape, a card that has a shape that has never been introduced before, I just draw the shape. And so it's literally just sprites. Like I define inside of the card resource here, I define like what its dimensions are. This is the bounding box. And then the excluded cells, those are the cells that are missing. So this is pretty doable, because like the max size that my card can be is 3x3. And so, there's not a whole lot of different configurations about like what the different shapes of the items are. So yeah, that's it. But it will take, what it will do is it will look at this data. It will say, what are the dimensions? And then are there any excluded cells? And then it will actually find in the file system the shape that corresponds to that configuration. So you can see here, like, I don't know if you can read this, but this one says 2x2 minus 0x0y. So that tells me the bounding box is 2x2, but it's missing the 0, 0 position, and that gives me a backward L shape. And so I just name the file appropriately, I configure the data appropriately, and then it automatically just pulls the image that it needs to use for the card background. Koroman. Welcome, Sonia. Have you ever thought of learning Vim or NVim? No, not at all. I am tempted at a level of precisely 0% to use either of those things. Unlocked by reaching 500 poison stacks in one combat encounter. Cool. Okay. Let's maybe do 1 or 2 more card packs, and then I want to add some more unlock conditions for the artifacts, for different artifacts and whatnot. So anyway, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break right now, though, and when I come back, we will add some unlock conditions, some more unlock conditions, I should say. Okay, BRB. All right, I'm back. I develop games in UE5, and there I would do it like you said, but when I used to make games in Godot, I would do the barrels, the components, the signals. For me, it would just be fine. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I said, there's a reason why object-oriented programming exists. Like, I think these, there are certain people that say, oh, well, you shouldn't use this, you shouldn't use that, it's a complete mistake, whatever else, but, like, obviously, you can accomplish anything you'd want to accomplish in basically any language, right? Or using like inheritance or composition or whatever. Like there's a million and one ways to do anything in game development. And I think it largely comes down to, it's just like any other tool, right? You don't dogmatically adhere to a tool. Like you wouldn't, if you're working on your house, you wouldn't say, the screwdriver is my favorite tool, and so I'm going to use it for everything. I'm going to use it to pave my driveway. Like, no, you wouldn't do that, right? You kind of like have to use the right tool for whatever problem you're facing. So if you have a system where you've got really complex entities that all have different behaviors, you might use composition instead of inheritance, because that's going to just be a lot easier to manage, right? But if you've got a much more simple game with like a clear hierarchy, you might use inheritance, right, instead of composition, because you're just going to be recomposing the same thing over and over and over again anyway. So you might as well use inheritance, right? So anyway, it's like, you could do it with anything, and it's just, I think it's just a matter of choosing whichever approach is going to work best for your project. All right, we need some more card packs here. I want to put this one in here. Let's see. So Yinsol. Oh, the other thing I have to make sure of, shoot. I have to make sure I'm not inadvertently adding any items to card packs that are used by the characters. I don't know. I mean, it would work. It would work. Let's see. But I just think it would be a little bit weird from a, let's see, gameplay standpoint. So basically anything that appears in a character, yeah, I don't want to add any of these items to a card pack. Okay, so I won't do that then. I just thought of something too. I did an entire essay on visual versus text-based programming languages a little while ago. Basically how some adults see visual programming languages as childish. Interesting. Yeah, like I said, whatever works, If visual programming is the only way that you're going to ever get a game done, then use visual programming. So we add this one. Let's add, maybe we'll add the hag to that too. Yinsol, hag, and what else? This altar, maybe? I wish I could see the tooltips in here. Maybe it'll be easier just to go turn off skip menu. Just go to the main menu and click it. We made a nuke by punching holes in a car. Yeah. Oh, here's another cool thing. I don't know. Maybe it's not that cool, but I added a version number into the game here. Oh, you can't see it. Oh, you can't see it at all. There's a version number in the game right here. And this, I don't know why I feel like this is so cool, but so this version number is pulled from the application config here, this version. But of course, the problem is, like, I don't want to have to remember to update this version every time I'm about to do a build, right? I would have to remember to change that in the project settings and then commit that and then do my build with the matching version. And that's just a recipe for disaster. That's just a recipe to make it so that the version is out of sync with the actual version. So I was able to actually just edit my workflow here. It finds that line in the project.godot for the config version, and it just puts my tag name in that field or in that value there. And so when I export or when I do a build of the game, I do it like this: get tag v0.17.6 or whatever it's going to be. And that kicks off this workflow, but this string will be placed into that version data in the project Godot file. And then that will be present in the game. So anyway, I thought that was pretty fun. I like little things like that where it's like, oh yes, I just have to push the tag and everything just happens automatically. It's great. Anyway, I think that version number it's somewhat important now that I'm going to be, more people are going to be playing the game, because when people are experiencing issues, I need to know like what the version number is. And actually, I'm going to go off on a tangent a little bit. Log dot. Do I want to put information in here? I don't think is debug build minimum level debug minimum level. Oh yeah. Logger initialized. Alcamortis version. And we'll get the project settings. Actually, you know what I'll do is, let's do this. Project, main menu. Let's do this. Public static game version, public static string game version. Okay, Alcamortis version. Game version initialized. This is actually going to be useful. So when people send me their logs, I'll know which version of the game they're on. Probably in the overwhelming majority of cases, it's going to be the latest version, but having more information than not is a good idea, I think. And then this can be data initializer .game version. Okay. Hello, the Mad Dog Project. Welcome back. It's going well. How are you doing? Okay. Sweet. Anyway, so what was I doing? So I want to grab Yinsol and maybe this alter and maybe, what was the other one I was looking at? Yinsol, alter, and this alter as well. Oh, the hag, right. Okay, so alter, occult alter, corrupted staff, and hag. Okay. Card pack, maybe we'll do witch. Corrupted staff, hag, occult altar. Okay, so card pack witch. Do I have... Now I don't know. I don't really have a good idea for an unlock condition for this one. What should the player have to do to unlock that pack? Still doing project planning. Very nice. Visual programming is fine, but usually quite limited. In UE5, you want to avoid making a low-quality asset flip game. You'll eventually have to write code in C++. It works well for prototyping. I learned to use C++ almost every time because you can easily reference C++ logic within blueprints, but doing the reverse is very difficult and resource intensive. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know anything about UE5. How much time do you spend making games a day? Lately, it's been like maybe 10 hours total throughout the day. Sometimes 12 hours. But welcome to the StreamCon. Some code, not all of it. My friend set up a network between our computers and we could both drag and drop the same file into our computers. That blew my mind. Nice. Yeah, when I migrated, so I have like the whole like Synology NAS, and I'm using Synology Drive, which is basically just a way of synchronizing files from your computer to your NAS and to other computers as well. So when I was building this new PC, which is not so new anymore, I have my old PC still sitting over there. For any files that were not automatically backed up, like tools and whatnot, I was able to just drag them over into a folder and have it transfer to this PC automatically. It's very, very nice. Very nice. Like if I ever need to get something off that computer, I just put it into a folder that gets synchronized and then it lands on this computer. It's very, very cool. What was in the pack? So the pack is the Witch bundle. It has, well, I don't have the tooltips. Let me see. Feels like magic, it does. What a time to be alive. So the item bundle here, it has the Yin Sol staff, which cleanses exhaust from something. It's got the Hag, which I think you're aware of. And then it's got the Altar to Corral, which is deal 15 damage per exhausted allied item. So yeah, I just need a good unlock condition for this one. Just bought your multiplayer course, excited to learn more about online stuff. Awesome. Thank you. If those were called something officially, I would say applying those types of abilities. Let me see. The confuse. So not a whole lot of things do confusion. So I can't really make it based off of confusion. Could do it based on blind, maybe? So what are the things we have? What are the kinds of things that we can make tied to unlocks? We've got like spending and earning currency. We've got combat victories. We've got things like have X amount of minion items on your board or whatever. We could track how many times Confuse was applied total. We could track how many times Confuse was applied in a single combat or any other thing. We could track artifacts acquired. Oh, that might be a good one, actually. The question is it possible? So if I said, you know, win a run with at least 10 artifacts, is that even possible? Oh, I can't. Okay, let's see. Is that even possible? I'm pretty sure it's possible, but let's see. Turn off the training dummy, turn off test map, debug fog, reveal radius 300. Confuse, paralysis, exhaust, blind, etc. That group of effects doesn't have a name. Those are debuffs. Those are debuffs. But I don't surface that name to the player, which is true. Maybe once the player gets the Cauldron artifact, Cauldron plus another Witchy artifact. Oh yeah, that could work. Okay, let me think about this though. So that's one artifact. So let's just go along a path. One artifact. I could grab that artifact, that's 2. I can purchase 2 artifacts here, so that's 4. There's an artifact over there, but I'm not counting that because I can only go so much. Okay. 5, 6, 7. 6, 7! 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so 10 should be reasonable because you're not going to be buying all artifacts and you're also not going to be able to travel optimally through the map. So I think acquiring 10 artifacts is doable. But it's going to be one of those situations where you probably have to be really concerned about collecting artifacts to unlock it. Oh no, not this again. Oh goodness. I don't even know why that's funny. I just know that it's funny and that makes it funny. Anyway. Am I not tracking the artifacts acquired though? Let's see. Counters. Yeah, let's put it in the counters here. So I'm also going to want milestones. Unlock milestones. Okay, so let's do this. Public const string run 1 with so run 1 with high artifact count. And then in my statistics counters, let's do public const string artifacts acquired. Okay, so now let's go to the run statistics manager. Let's do var get artifact manager, artifact manager, connect to artifact added. This takes an artifact and a vector 2, huh? Oh, so it's artifact, animated, animated from position. I'm not getting my autocomplete anymore. Okay, what happens if I pause this? Oh, I can't pause it? Pool is animated. Run statistics dot increment counter statistic. You know what? I did update VS Code this morning, so I wonder if something broke that is like affecting my IntelliSense here. Okay, so we're incrementing the artifact counter, but that's a different. The other thing I want to do too is I want to make sure this isn't counting the artifacts that you get by default. So let's just go into the game and make sure that I'm not seeing those prints there. I guess I'm getting old, but no, I'm not 67 yet. Some guy on TikTok made a weird dance, repeatedly saying 6'7". He also moved his hands up and down while doing it. This is how the gesture and numbers became a meme. Oh, interesting. It's always strange how things become memes. Thank you, Snutbill, for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciated with the message, Yummers. Thank you, thank you. Yummers. Artifact added. No! Dang it. That's gonna count. All right, I have a way of fixing this, I think. Because that's gonna, like, if I have 5 artifacts and I quit the game and I load the game, it's gonna increment the count by 5 again. So what I probably want to do is I want to do something like delay artifact connection to post load. Something like that. And then we'll do, this should be private. Or it is private, it just needs to be down here. Private void delay. See, I usually get like some kind of completion here. It's not like IntelliSense, but it detects that I have this string in the file and then it will say, oh, do you want to make this method name? But now that's not happening. Anyway. Callable.from. Okay. So again, this is kind of like, so I kind of mentioned this in Discord, but you know, I don't like to use comments if I can help it. So what I could have done is I could have done this, and then I could have written a comment that said, we need to delay the connection so that existing or default artifacts from the selected character do not increment the counter, right? Or I could put it in a method that specifically says delay artifact connection to post load, which does the same exact thing, but now like the code is serving as the source of truth and the source of meaning, right? So it's like, it's telling me why it's delaying it without a comment. And so now, like, I keep harping on this, but like the reason I don't like comments is because you're introducing an extra source of truth, right? You're relying on comments to convey the meaning, and then you're relying on the code to convey the logic or to do the logic. But ideally, the code should be doing both. It should be conveying the meaning and running the logic at the same time. And so even just doing something like that serves that goal. So anyway, it's just one of my preferences, I guess. It's functionally the same, but I don't have to clutter the source code with comments, and the meaning and functionality are coupled together, right? So let's see if this, I don't even know if that's going to work, honestly. It did work. Look at that. So no artifact added call happened. And then if I go ahead and add a new artifact, hands, I get a new one and I should see the artifact added. Perfect. Excellent. Okay. Okay. All right. So now, so I'm counting the total number of artifacts that you acquire. So that's one thing, right? And I might as well, while I'm thinking about this, go into my run overview. Plain rows. Ordered status types. Ordered counters. Translation key. Okay. So what I can do in here is I can do artifacts acquired. There we go. So that will add a new line to my run overview as well. Hello, Drufus Games. Welcome. Good to see you. Artifacts acquired 0. Yeah, there we go. And this is all copyable too, so I can copy this and then... So I'm hoping that you guys will have fun sharing your stats, but you can copy that run statistics and paste it, and this will be very nicely formatted for you, so you can just paste it right into Discord if you want to just share your end run stats. Just woke too early, 2:02 a.m. Oh no. That's not good. So run save manager. Where am I checking? No. Where is this used? Unlocked manager instance notify combat 1. I don't know if I like that. Let me see. So I need a way of counting how many artifacts the player has when they win. So I would do something like do I want to just do a game event here? Emit run 1, then run end manager. We'll just put it here. Oops. I don't really know if I like this pattern here, but that's okay. This is all static here. Okay, so maybe I won't. Let's delete this actually. Can we input the seed into the game? Not yet. No. I mean, do you guys want that to be in place before the next playtest? Excited to see people trying to make mods and come up with the card variations. Yeah, I mean, that'll be fun to see. I mean, people are already coming up with all kinds of card ideas. Whether people will actually mod, I will consider my game a great success if people want to decompile the game and like mod it. Like that will be. I'll be a real game developer then. I don't sleep that well. Oh, that's sorry to hear that. Hello, it's Mighty Goat. Love your videos on YouTube. Would you say your courses on Udemy are beginner friendly, totally new to Godot, and want to find a good place to learn? And it seems like you really are great at what you do. Thank you. They are. They are, if you are, let me think about what I want to say here. If you have programming experience, then they are beginner friendly. So if you're just new to Godot, but you already have like programming experience, I think you'll have a fine time doing it. If you don't have any programming experience, the problem with my courses is that I don't really explain how programming works. So it's not a programming tutorial. It's a course about how to use Godot. So I recommend for the course having some programming experience at least. But if you don't have any Godot experience, yeah, it's totally fine. I'm decompiling day one. All right, there you go. That would be awesome. Hello, bite marks. Not a paid chatter. They are maybe the best Godot tutorials. You should give them a try. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we deleted that one. Let's see, ion combat one. Just do new. Let's just copy this. Why is this not... See, I'm not getting the IntelliSense anymore. Why do I have to type everything out? This is annoying. I don't have the freaking IntelliSense. Oh my gosh. This can be an int, actually. Oh, I don't have a reference to the run statistics. I guess I do need the context object. What? No, I don't need this. I keep going. Oh, okay. This is a little bit annoying. Goodness gracious. Okay. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should do that. I wonder if I should do that here, actually. Yeah, I think that's the better way to do it, because this is going to be saved. Okay, yeah, I probably need to do that, actually. Okay, so actually, let's go back to my run statistics manager. We're getting rid of this now. We can get rid of that game events thing that I did. I guess I could have just discarded this from... Oh, well. Okay, all right, let me just make sure that this is all correct. Notify run 1, artifacts acquired, run 1 with high artifact count, unlocked by winning a run with at least that many artifacts. If we have a victory, we're going to notify the run 1 before we merge the statistics. Okay. Okay, all right. I'll test this later, but add... Let me just make sure this all works, actually. GD Quest is good for general programming, but I like yours for the C# specific on other things. Yeah. Yeah, GD Quest is great. Wait, you guys are getting paid? Definitely going to check them out. Do you have any tips on learning how to program code if we are a beginner of that as well? If you were to start totally over and know nothing, what path would you take? Yeah, I mean, like was mentioned, GD Quest. GD Quest has a lot of very good beginner-friendly tutorials that do go over the programming fundamentals. So check out GD Quest. The Leo here mentioned the name there, so definitely check out GD Quest. But yeah, I think this is looking good. Let me just turn on ignore unlocks, or turn off ignore unlocks. And then if I look at the hag, oh, I can't see, never mind. So definitely need more artifact unlock conditions, but I'll work on that this afternoon probably. Okay. All right. All right, well, that's going to be it for the stream today. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. You can check out Alchemortis on Steam. The link is in the description below. Give it a wish list if you're interested in the game. I would very much appreciate that. You can also join the Discord. That's linked below. I've got the Patreon where you can support me if you want to do that. Yeah, everything's linked below, all the ways you could support me. I appreciate you all being here. It's always fun chatting with you. And yeah, I'll see you in the Discord. Otherwise, I'm working very hard on getting another playtest build ready for you. So that's going to be coming up in the near future. Again, if you want early access to the playtest, you have to be a Patreon member. Patreon members will get 1 week of access to the playtest before anyone else. But everyone will have an opportunity to try Alchemortis after the Patreon exclusive period. So join the Discord to be notified when those things go live. Thank you again, and hope you all have a great day. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.